morning, everybody. Today's proceedings are going to be live streamed, but by voice only. Those with mobile devices in the hearing room behind the screen may use them to report what they hear in the hearing room, but only after 10 minutes have elapsed since the event that they're reporting. They may not be used for recording. Yes.
Thank you. If you'd like to stand, please. If you'd like to repeat after me, please. I do solemnly, sincerely and truly
I do solemnly, sincerely and truly
declare and affirm that the evidence I shall give
that the evidence I shall give
shall be the truth,
the
whole truth,
and
nothing but the truth.
nothing but the truth.
I'm going to address you as Maya, which is the name that you've adopted to ensure that your privacy is protected.
Yes.
If there is any stage at which you want to stop or to pause, just say so, and I will immediately stop or pause. Anything you want to assist you, please just ask.
Okay.
And don't feel in the slightest bit embarrassed about it.
Okay.
I readily understand that it is not an easy experience for you.
Thank you.
Right. Yes.
I too will be calling you Maya in these proceedings because you have anonymity. Maya, do you recall providing to the inquiry a witness statement dated the 16th of May 2025?
Yes.
Are you familiar with the contents of that statement?
Yes.
And are the contents of that statement true and correct to the best of your knowledge and belief?
Yes.
We'll start with how you came to be in the housing cooperative in South London. The document suggests, Maya, that you met Robert Hastings through someone that he was targeting called Atif Chowdhury. How did you know Atif Chowdhury?
I actually knew him through an ex-boyfriend of mine.
And when did you meet him, roughly?
Possibly a few months before. I think probably early 2005 or late 2004. Yeah.
How did you end up living next door to him in the housing cooperative?
I became friends with him, not very close in the beginning, and he became aware that I was looking for a place to stay. So he said, "There's a vacancy, would you like to, apply?" Yeah.
And your application was successful?
Yeah.
Atif Chowdhury says this about the circumstances in which you came to move in. We don't need to bring it up, but his witness statement is paragraph 3.13 on page 8. And he says, Maya moved into the house next door within the co-op around the summer of 2005. I knew her through mutual friends and discovered she had become homeless and needed somewhere to live. She was clearly quite vulnerable having recently been homeless. She was young and a very kind and open person who would easily trust others. Maya, is that an accurate description of your circumstances at the time you moved into the housing co-op?
Yes, I was actually sneakily living in an office building that time before I moved into the co-op, yeah.
And would you agree you were vulnerable at that time?
Yeah, I was homeless then, but not on the streets. I was,
Sure.
yeah.
Again, just for the avoidance of doubt, this was a housing co-op, so not a commune, not a collective.
No.
And just very briefly, can you tell us just what a co-op is, like how it worked?
Well, my understanding was that all the tenants have to have some share of responsibilities, different tasks in moving into the co-op, that the rent rates were low, but then in return for living in a place that accommodated us with such cheap rents was that we had to chip in, like somebody does the gardening, somebody becomes a secretary or something, and that there'd be like monthly meetings where we could all be able to contribute and also make joint decisions. For example, if somebody needed a fridge or something,
Sure.
and the funds would go to that. So that was my understanding of the co-op.
So you help manage
Yes.
the entire place. You were living next door to Atif Chowdhury. What kind of relationship did you have with him?
I saw him as an older brother figure. So, yeah, I was able to confide in him on many things. I felt very protected by him. Yeah, because he was, he helped me, to move into the co-op. It wasn't his decision.
Sure.
It was, but yeah, just having seen that I was vulnerable and having, suggested that I could move there, I was very grateful to him for that. But also, we had a very good relationship in that we were able to share things as friends, like, love of comics, for example. Yeah.
There's no disagreement about this, but for the record, you weren't an activist, were you, Maya,
No,
at
I
this
was
time?
not an activist.
Or at all?
No,
So you attended no meetings, no protests. You were not involved in organising meetings and protests.
No, not in that sense, no.
We understand from your witness statement that you did assist Atif with 2 fundraisers
Yeah.
under the name Rage Against the Occupation in
Yes.
2005 and 2006. Is that right?
Yes.
And the reason you helped him with those fundraisers is because at that time you were active in the promotion of Southeast and Southeast Asian art and culture in London.
Yes.
Robert Hastings, in his witness statement at paragraph 195, says this about your activism, or lack of. Maya was not an activist, and my recollection is she only ever came to one activist-related event, which was one at the Rampart. My recollection is that she only attended because I was DJing. Again, for the avoidance of doubt, the assertion that you only attended one activist-related event would appear to be inaccurate. You actually attended 2, is that right, in 2005 and 2006?
I'm a bit confused. So, I only went to see him at the Rampart. I've attended another event as well where I think he was. So it was two events.
2 events.
Yeah.
Don't worry too much. I mean,
Yeah,
we'll look at
I
them in a
remember
little
the
more
other event
detail.
as well. Yeah.
When he says that you only attended because he was DJing,
Yes.
is that accurate?
Yes.
And was that the 2006 event or the 2005 event?
These were in 2006. Yeah.
Fine.
I mean, the 2005 event is the one where we met.
Yes.
Yeah, but that wasn't because he was DJing.
Sure.
That was through
Fine.
through helping out a band. Yeah.
We'll look at the 2005 event now, just briefly. The first time you met is around the 21st of May 2005 at this Rage Against the Occupation fundraiser in 2005 at the Sahara Nights nightclub on Pentonville Road. Is that right?
Yes.
And did you meet him actually at the event, Maya?
I did. It's very vague. I was
Yeah.
just told to pass a a CD
Yep.
to put on the music for him. And so, so I went there to the DJ booth and, I said, oh, could you put the CD on? And that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, that was the extent of it.
Yeah.
You say in your witness statement that you next met him in early 2006. This is paragraph 3.3 of your witness statement.
Mm-hmm.
And at that point, you'd moved into the housing co-op.
Yes.
Can you please describe for us the incident where you met him next when you were painting your kitchen?
Yeah, I was painting my kitchen. I was standing on the kitchen counter because I'm a short person, and so I was trying to paint the ceilings, walls, and he passed by and he just looked and he said, "Nice bum,"
How did you feel when he said that?
I was taken aback. I'd never heard anybody say that to me, and I didn't really know what it implied. Like, I was like, should I be disturbed about this? Is this a compliment? Is this a rude thing? Yeah, I was very confused.
It was unsettling. Is that
Yes.
fair? When he said this, what, if anything, did you know about him? Did you recognise him?
Yeah, I think I recognize, because I was told that he was Rob and his DJ. Yeah.
Is that the extent of what you knew about him, that he was a DJ, or did you know anything else?
Nothing else. No.
So I understand that this was in early 2006 that this happened.
Yes.
Before your sexual relationship began, which I understand to be in summer 2006, but we'll come to that, how many times did you see him roughly in between this incident and when the relationship began?
Maybe 3-4 times, I think, because just in passing, you know, like he'd just wave from the window. Well, you know, if I was in the kitchen and he was passing by, then he would wave. And but just in fleeting passing. And he did one time come in for a cup of tea because he knocked and he asked if Latif was in. I said, no, not yet. You know, so I said, well, you might as well just come in for a tea, because I'd sort of been familiar with his face then. By then, yeah.
And did you know he was friendly with Latif?
Yes. Yeah.
So I think you've answered the question, but that's why you invited him in for a cup of tea?
Yeah, because by then I was like, okay, he's a good friend of Latif's, and he's just always coming round to visit him. And that's my I didn't even know he was an activist or anything like that. Yeah.
Were you interested in him at all?
No.
Can you describe for us what it was like when he came in for a cup of tea? What did you talk about?
Well, I mean, I think by that time there was a little bit of exchange already, as in just, hello, hi. And I think he just came in and he just asked questions like, something like, have you ever been with a white man, or would you like to, how does it feel, like, would you ever get into a relationship with, he was just asking me questions about my life.
Right.
I wasn't very interested in his then, and he just asked me like, oh yeah, would you ever be with a white man? And I thought that was a bit weird, and then when I declared to him that, well, my ex is white, he did a silent cheer, which I thought was also a little weird. Because I remember him cheering silently. And would you date an older man? I mean, it wasn't very long, maybe 15 minutes or so. And I also remember, then I think I must have teased him. I don't know whether it was that day or another time, something about him having blue eyes. Or so, I just made some passing remark, and then he just said, wait, no, my eyes aren't blue. So, that's how much I hadn't really noticed him.
Right.
And he did say, like, you met me before, I think so. Because I didn't even remember that he was the DJ that I had met in 2005. Okay. But yeah, he had reminded me that I had met him, yeah.
I'll unpack that a little bit.
Yeah.
So you invited him in for a cup of tea. You say he was only there for about 15 minutes. Mm-hmm. That suggests he launched quite quickly into this line of questioning. Is that fair?
Yes, yeah.
And again, were you sitting down? Had you made him a cup of tea when he started asking you these questions?
Or? Oh, yeah, well, I was sat on the sofa, so yeah. We were both in the sitting room. Yeah.
And his manner when he asked you these questions, was he asking them in a flirtatious manner, in a straight-faced, neutral manner?
It's a little bit excitable, if that makes sense. Yeah. From what I remember, because he wasn't just like calm and, asking these questions slowly.
Yeah.
Yeah. but then from that, you know, it just kind of then when he was leaving is when I sort of felt like, oh, this guy might like me if he's asking these questions. Yeah.
Well, that was going to be my question. So he made it very clear that he was interested in you sexually. Is that accurate?
Not then. I didn't think about sex at all, and I didn't think that. I mean, he didn't come off to me in a seedy manner, to be honest.
Yeah.
At that time, he didn't come across as if he was interested in sex, no.
But when he asked you if you would ever date a white man, for example, what did you make of that?
Well, I made of it, well, first of all, I thought it was really a strange question, but then what I made of it was that perhaps he was checking if I was single and available to date him.
Right.
Yeah.
So to that extent...
To that extent, yes.
Yeah. He was making it clear that it was more than just a friendly interest,
Yes.
perhaps.
Yeah.
When he asked you if you would ever date an older man, again, what did you make of that?
Well, I made of it that he is probably asking about himself and that he was older than me.
Did he tell you how old he was?
No, not that time.
Did he ask you how old you were?
I think so. Yeah, as far as I recall, but I'm not 100% accurate on that.
And at that time, you were around 26 years old.
Yes.
Again, when he did the silent cheer, when you said that you would date someone who was white, well, that your ex-boyfriend was white, how did that make you feel?
Taken aback, because I just wondered whether that was a strange English mannerism or something. Yeah, because I've not really witnessed anybody silently cheering before in my life. Yeah, so, yeah.
I understand from your witness statement that you told him that you'd only had one boyfriend. Is that accurate?
Yes.
How did he respond to that particular piece of information?
Honestly, I don't recall that.
Right.
Yeah.
Did you tell him anything more about, you don't have to go into detail, don't worry, but about how long that relationship had been, how serious it was?
I don't think I went into that much detail. I think I might have talked more about my cultural background and heritage.
So is it fair to say that at this early stage you made him aware that you were not experienced in relationships?
Yes.
You think you made that clear?
Yeah.
Did he tell you anything about his relationship status?
No.
Did he tell you anything about his relationship history?
No.
Looking now at the second Rage Against the Occupation fundraiser in May 2006, you refer to this in your witness statement at paragraph 3.6, and you say that you were asked by Atif Chowdhury to assist, and that Robert Hastings offered to help with a sound system, with sourcing a sound system, and that you and he drove to collect speakers from a business venue in the Caledonian Road in Angel. Is that right?
Yes.
I understand that that trip with him in the car to get the speakers was uneventful. Is that right?
Yeah, it was quite uneventful. I mean, it was just little chitter-chatter because I was more focused on making sure the band was going to be okay with their sound system.
Can you remember the nature of the chitter-chatter at all, or don't worry if not?
Not really. Just more like, maybe the band will be late or whatever. Probably something like that. Yeah, it wasn't very personal.
Yeah.
That. Yeah.
Can you tell us what happened at the event later on that evening between the two of you?
Yes. So sometime during the event, he pulled me to a wall And he crouched down, and then he said, "So you can kiss me now." And I just was like, "What?" And I was very surprised. I felt very awkward, embarrassed. I felt flattered at the same time because I thought, "Oh wow, this guy really does like me." And I remember telling him, like, "No, I can't do this. I mean, it's nice you like me, but this is not my culture, and my brothers are here. I mean, how could I do that?" Yeah.
Again, we'll unpack it a little bit. Before he did this, he pulled you towards the wall and walked backwards. What had you been doing? Were you talking to him? Were you dancing? Were you interacting with him at all?
Not that much, no. I think I was just like busy walking around the different rooms, sort of making sure, wondering if things are in place for the band that I was managing. And so it wasn't like we had gone for a drink together or, been chatting and hanging out together, no.
So it came out of the blue?
It did come out the blue from what I recall, yeah.
You've explained why you felt embarrassed.
Yes.
It was against your background and the way you'd been brought up. You say in your witness statement also that you felt insulted. Is that accurate?
Yes, it is, because, I felt, when he, like, I don't really know this guy, and then even if he likes me, if he did like me, wouldn't there be some kind of courtship or something before even a kiss? Yeah. So I felt that was also, I was both insulted and flattered. It was a bit of me, because it was nice to, have him sort of declare that interest in me, but at the same time I felt that was just, out of order, just to, if you like, how do you just kiss a stranger, almost?
Yeah. You didn't kiss him back.
No.
And you explained why you didn't want to kiss him back.
Yeah.
How did he react to that?
Oh, he just sort of laughed it off, and he said, "Oh, it's nothing, it's going to be fine." And I said, "No, I'm sorry, yeah."
So he persisted, he tried to persuade you?
He tried to persuade me, but not too long, It's just like, no. I said, okay, Yeah, I think he realized that I could like him back, so maybe that's why he didn't pursue further, but he didn't insist. No, he wasn't forceful.
Right.
He did try, but he did try and laugh it off. He did try to convince me, but like I think after a minute or two that was just shut down. Yeah.
And how did you part company on that evening? On what terms did you part?
I don't recall. I don't even recall if he gave me a lift back. I don't think so. Honestly, it's very vague. I can't remember.
Don't worry. If you can't remember, that's fine.
Yeah, it was because then I just got busy with the band, Yeah.
You describe in your witness statement, Maya, after this incident, a growing attraction towards Robert Hastings. Is that right?
Yes.
And why do you think your attraction towards him grew after that incident?
Well, because he liked me. It was flattering.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So to some extent it made you feel good about yourself?
Yes.
Slight shift here. I just would like to bring up, please, it's the one report from Robert Hastings in which you're named, and the reference is MPS 0065807. It's at tab B1. It's a report dated the 29th of the 5th, 2006. So would it be right, Maya, to say that this report is dated around the time that this happened with Robert Hastings, just after the Rage Against the Occupation event, just before the sexual relationship began?
Yes.
There's a fleeting mention of you on page 2, please, paragraph 2, if we could just bring that up. So paragraph 2, it reads, Maya is a close... Sorry, actually the paragraph above that and the one... Sorry, it's 2 and 3. Maya is a close associate of the activist Atif Chowdhury. Maya lives in Address in the same housing cooperative as Chowdhury. Maya claims to be 26 years of age, born in privacy. She holds a current privacy passport. Thank you, we can take that down. So that's the extent of the reporting which mentions you, Maya, that the inquiry's obtained. How do you feel about the fact that Robert Hastings reported on you around this time that he was making sexual advances towards you?
Very uncomfortable now, because then it feels like if it was genuine, then why would he even report me at that time? So it just feels that even that flirtation was very fake.
Describing you also as a close associate of Atif Chowdhury, would you like to comment on that? Do you feel that's accurate?
I don't know. I mean, associate can be quite a loaded term, especially now in hindsight. So it does make me feel as if, first of all, my name's there as an associate. Well, Atif had so many associates that were far closer to him in that sense. Whether it was in terms of his profession, his activism, his personal life. I was his neighbor, and yes, a sister, more like a sister, but why associate is something that concerns me.
Yeah. Early June 2006, Maya, I understand that your relationship with Robert Hastings became sexual. I just want to explore with you the circumstances in which that happened. I understand from your witness statement at paragraph 4.1 that approximately 2 weeks after the Rage Against the Occupation event in May, 21st of May 2006, he invited you to his flat. Is that accurate?
Yes.
Sorry, I just want something, it's a very small detail, but I just want to clarify. In your witness statement, you say that the Rage Against the Occupation event was on the 19th of May. I looked it up on the internet. It said it was the 21st of May.
Yeah,
Do you think that sounds right?
I don't remember the date. We just look at the poster.
Fine.
Yeah. Because
It's around
I
that
remember
time.
you said 21st, and then I did see the 19th.
No, I should have clarified that because it isn't actually what you say in your witness statement. But it was that event.
Yes.
Can you please set out for us how he came to invite you round to his flat?
Yeah, it wasn't just out the blue. I mean, I think he had returned the speakers or something, and and I know that he did. And by that it was clear that he liked me, and then I don't know why I went to his flat. I think maybe, but because I remember something like "come around and then you can thank me properly" is what I remember him saying, but I don't remember whether he meant like thank me properly when I thought like maybe we're going to go for dinner or something.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, in your witness statement at paragraph 4.1, you say you texted him to say thank you,
Yes.
and then he responded in a text saying what you've just said. You've preempted my next question. You said that you interpreted his comment, "Why don't you come round so I can thank you properly," as maybe he might take you out for dinner. Is that right?
Yeah.
Is that the extent of what you thought?
Yes.
How did you feel when you got that message?
Excited. I thought like, yeah, we're going to go out on a date.
Did he go into any more detail about what you might do, or was it simply that, just come over?
Yeah, just that.
That's all it was.
Yeah.
When you went over there, had it entered your mind that you might end up sleeping with him or not?
No, I mean, it entered my mind that we would kiss possibly, but not that I would end up sleeping with him.
What happened when you arrived?
I went up.
What time was this? What time of day, roughly?
Sometime in the afternoon. I don't know. Yeah, it wasn't at night.
Right.
Yeah, it was still daylight, but not
Yeah.
early morning. And I remember going up the stairs, and he was ironing. And I remember it was quite a cramped flat. I don't know, do you need more detail?
Sorry?
Should I give more details?
Just, no, don't worry. So
Yeah.
this, just to be clear also, this is the flat in Holloway.
Yes.
Not the one on Roman Road. So it's his first cover flat. And when you turned up, can you just help us with how you ended up sleeping with him? If you could
Okay.
just set out the chain of events.
Yeah,
Thank
no,
you.
I remember going up the stairs, he was ironing, we were talking, I remarked about the things I saw in the house because he had a Halle Berry poster up, and then I said, a teenager or something, so there was a bit of that banter, and then he also made himself a smoothie with eggshells in it, and I thought that was disgusting, and
Right.
he was just talking about fitness, and I think it was just getting closer, and then he pulled me to his room, started kissing me. I was very flattered, and then one thing led to another, and so
So
my
he
hormones got the best of me that time, in a sense.
So he initiated.
Yes.
Did he make you a drink? Give you any food?
I don't recall that. No, maybe an orange juice, but I really don't recall. Yeah.
Can you help us with roughly how soon after you turned up you...
Ended up in bed.
Yeah.
Maybe 15, 20 minutes. It was quite fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, I mean, it appears to follow from what you said, Maya, but again, just for the avoidance of doubt, you were receptive to his initiating.
Yes, and I
Sex.
was curious. I was inexperienced, so I thought, so this is what it's like. Yeah.
After you and he had had sex, how did you feel? Did you feel good about it? Did you feel ambivalent?
I felt good about it that time. Yeah.
You refer in your witness statement at paragraph 4.2, page 7, to a conversation that you had, which I understand happened in the aftermath of having sex with him for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
Can you help us with the nature of that conversation?
Yeah, I mean, I remember he drove me home, and it was the evening then.
Yep.
And he, so I was just trying to process all of this because it was the first time I ever slept with somebody so soon.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, so this is what grown-ups do, And I thought, well, now that I'm out here in the world trying to experiment and learn about myself and learn new things, maybe it's moving a bit too fast, that I just wanted to let him know that just because I had slept with him, it didn't necessarily mean that we were going to be a couple. So I said, I would like to take time to get to know different people.
Yep.
And thank you for the experience. And then he got a bit angry.
What did he say?
He talked about how he doesn't like to share, and he made it seem that having sex with me was such a big deal, a declaration of his love, in a sense, for him just to be like, I don't share, as if well, I gave my body to you, so, how dare you, try and go around and meet other men, sort of. He didn't say that, but
Yeah.
that's the sense that I got.
Right.
And he said how, that in this world, 99% of the men are bad. That he's very few people are good, and he's the 1%. And he just seemed quite upset, and that upset me.
Why did that upset you?
Because it made me feel as if I'd done something wrong. It made me feel that that he was suspecting me for being a promiscuous person.
So if I understand your evidence correctly, it seems that he was implying that he was a steadfast, loyal person and that you were perhaps less so.
Yeah. Or
prone to-
possibly he less. Yeah. So he didn't say I was.
Yeah.
But his upset, it's as if he feared that I would be this.
Right.
Yeah.
Would it be fair to
Yes,
say that he was slightly outraged, or seemed outraged by the suggestion that you might not want to enter into a exclusive relationship?
Yes.
When he got angry and he said these things and implied these things, how did you respond to him?
I don't recall, because I find it very difficult to articulate myself when I'm very upset in front of somebody. And so I just told him, like, it's not like that. And I don't really recall much of what I said, but I do recall going home and crying because I thought, like, oh, how could somebody think that of me? And then he came round later that night as well.
Oh, did he, that same night? So, just to get the timeline.
I think so,
clear.
as far as I recall. It could have been that night or the night after,
Okay.
but I just remember being very upset. And then, yeah.
So, you went round to his flat in the afternoon. He drove you home. How long afterwards was that, roughly?
I mean, I think we were probably in his flat for an hour or two, so I'm guessing that I might have gone there maybe like 4 p.m. or something, like more late afternoon. And because I remember it was more like, it wasn't late night, but it was early evening.
Yeah.
When we came home and to my place, and and then I remember being upset, and then I remember sending him texts saying, like, that this is all new, something along the lines about how this is new for me, and I would never be unfaithful. I just wanted to know people, and then it was maybe around 11 o'clock or so, because I remember it was late at night when he said he'll come back so that we could talk it out.
Right.
Yeah.
And then it's your recollection that he came back over to your house.
Yes.
And did he stay the night?
No, he didn't enter the house. We said, like, okay, let's just talk outside, because I had a flatmate. I didn't want her to hear anything. So we went outside the co-op to a wall nearby.
Yeah.
It was a very low wall, and we sat there, and I talked to him about, like, how I had, how these things were new, how I had been my first sexual, not only that I had only one boyfriend before, but how my first sexual encounter was rape. So I explained to him how I was raped when I was 19 and how it affected me, and how I had sorry.
No, please don't. Just take as much time as you need.
I explained that that fidelity was a very important thing to me, and that I'm not somebody that goes around and sleeps with people. And I explained that having been accused of being sort of impure before was a reason that led me to self-harm. And I had a huge scar on my leg, which is still visible today. And I told him how I had cut myself simply through that accusation, so that if we were together, that he could trust me and I would never be unfaithful, and I'm not a promiscuous person. Yeah.
And how did he respond when you told him these things?
He seemed very sympathetic.
How did he seem sympathetic?
Well, he was just quiet, and he's like, okay, I understand, and, so, yeah.
Did he...
But he didn't hug me, though, no. No.
And did he acknowledge that he had hurt you by accusing you, or at least implying that you might be promiscuous?
No, I don't remember him acknowledging that. I just remember him listening. But, he didn't say, like, sorry, I didn't mean to imply that to you, or I'm sorry that, I've upset you, or anything like that. He's just like, okay, more like, here, I'm listening to you, I hear you, you can trust me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You referred to the scar on your leg.
Yes.
Did you, or did he say anything about that scar when you slept with him that first time?
No.
No. We'll come to that, don't worry. When you parted company on that evening after you'd had that conversation, again, what terms did you part on?
More reassured
Yeah.
terms. I just felt like, okay, well, I can try and be good, and he really likes me, and I'll be a good girl and be faithful, and yeah.
And again, I'm sorry if it seems like an obvious question, but what had given you the impression that he really liked you?
Well, because he sat there and listened to me, and he said, yeah, well, I'll see you again. And so for me it implied that he was no longer suspicious about me. Yeah.
Did you use contraception over the course of your sexual relationship in 2006 and 2007 with Robert
In the
Hastings?
beginning, and then afterwards, I told him that, then I took the pill.
Right.
Yeah.
So, again, just to be clear, so you started using condoms, but then you went on the pill during the relationship, or were you already
I think I was already on the pill then.
Right.
Yeah, I think I was on the pill because, actually, to be honest, my memory for that is quite hazy when I started the pill, but I know that I was on the pill because my GP had suggested that I get on it.
Don't worry. Don't divulge anything about your medical
My
information.
medical info. Yeah,
but I understand.
I wasn't on the pill for sexual purposes. Let's just say that.
I understand.
Yeah.
Robert Hastings, in his witness statement, again, we don't need to bring it up, but it's paragraph 192.2, says this. He says, "We did not discuss the issue of using contraception. Maya never asked me about it, and I assumed she was taking precautions."
Yeah,
Is that
no, I
accurate?
mean, even the first time we had sex, he said, like, he needed to put on his Jimmy hat, so I didn't know what that meant.
Right.
And then he explained that that's a slang term for condom.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, that phrase pops up in one of the emails later on, which we'll come to. After the first sexual encounter, Maya, how often did you see one another?
Possibly. I mean, I think it was more like once a week, then it led to 2-3 times a week, 2 times a week, like that, yeah.
And when you saw each other, would you have sex every time you saw each other or not?
Pretty much, yes.
And did this happen mostly at your flat, mostly at his flat, a combination of the two?
My flat.
Why was that?
I don't know. He just never invited me round to his flat again. And he would be like, oh, I'm coming around. You know, most of the times I didn't even really invite him.
Right.
As in, he would be like, oh, I'm in the area, I'm coming around, and are you home? And then I'd invite him to my house.
Yeah.
And then, yeah.
So you've preempted my next question, which was when you did meet up, how that came about. So I understand from your evidence that it wasn't generally prearranged far in advance. It was quite ad hoc. Is that right?
Very ad hoc, to be honest. Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
So you never quite never quite knew when you'd be seeing him. Is that right?
Yes. It wasn't like, oh, you know, let's meet up in 2 weeks, or even, you know, are you free this weekend? Let's meet up this weekend. It was more like, hi, I'm around. Is what it seemed to be most of the time.
And how would he communicate that to you?
By text message.
What sort of a time would he text you, letting you know he was around?
Evenings. He would text me in the evenings. He would not, you know, I don't really recall many texts saying, you know, in the morning, like, are you free later on for dinner?
Yeah.
Or are you free tonight? It was more like, hi, you know, I'll be in the area and I'll be passing by in a couple of hours, or I'll be passing by. Are you home? And
Right.
yeah. And most of the times it was very quick, as in, you know, he would say like, you know, maybe 10 o'clock or something like that. And
Yeah.
he'd be like, oh, are you around? I'm like, yeah, you are. Are you free? Yeah. Okay, I'll come around. And then he's at the door in 15 minutes.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So he didn't, I mean, I appreciate he did check some time in advance, but not very far in advance.
Not
about
very
whether-
much notice. Half the time I wouldn't say half the time. I can't really recall the how many
Proportion.
times it's like that. But you know, there were occurrences where he'd be like, "Hi, I'm outside. Look outside your window."
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll come to that. You also refer in your witness statement to receiving texts really very late.
Yes.
Is that accurate?
Yes.
So what time would he sometimes text?
I'd say between 10 to 1 a.m. So 10 p.m. to 1 a.m.
So is it fair to say, and it seems to be the case from what you've said, that your meetups are always on his terms, essentially? He was the
Yes.
one who designated the time, the place. You
Yes.
didn't get much say in it.
Yeah, and you know, my understanding was that, you know, he had a very busy job, that his job didn't have regular hours, which is why it was very difficult for him to plan, or for ourselves to plan, because even if I said like, are you free this weekend, you know, a job might just come up on the day of the weekend.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so he sought to... Does it follow from that you did say to him, why are you always just texting me on the hoof? Did you challenge him?
No, but after some time I did get upset and I challenged him by email.
Yeah. We'll look at one of these emails, actually. If we could please bring up UCPI 38191, page 10, it's tab A2. This is an email that you sent Robert Hastings, Maya, on the 24th of September 2006. So it's page 10, paragraph 2. So you'd been in a relationship with him for a few months at this stage. And it appears in this email, this isn't the first email you sent him where you're setting out how you feel, but it's an email where you're communicating to him some of your issues with the way that he's conducting the relationship. I'll read this paragraph to you. You write, "It is frustrating when you can't give me straight answers about it when I next get to see you. Do I just wait until you show up out of the blue? Am I supposed to tell everyone that you are oh so busy and have no idea what to say when they tell me, well, your man seems to make enough time to go to his meetings and demonstrations. How come he doesn't make time to see you? I don't know, but I would like to believe there are good reasons. There are so many things you do, or mostly that you don't do, that it's very easy for many people to doubt your feelings towards me. And that can drive me nuts, because the cards seem to be blatantly facing me that you just don't give a shit. That's what hurts most. You act like you don't give a shit. You don't reply to calls. You say you love me and don't think it might be a little nice to ask, hey, when we go out? Well, you don't need to ask. I'm practically always ready for you. You have my keys. You can come in the house whenever you want and I can be there for you, whatever. It goes on and on and on. And well, I cannot be throwing the blame on you because I know that my old habits of naivety and thoughtlessness have also given you plenty of reason to doubt me. I have tried to analyse them. I cannot justify most things, but at least I hope my diary helps you to make sense of some things. I don't want a diary from you, but when you do things that seems utterly senseless and thoughtless to me, at least taking time to talk to you or see you will help me understand and make sense of some of the things you do. Now, there's a lot there, and we'll explore some of the topics that arise through that in due course, but focusing just now on this issue of him turning up unannounced, Maya. You refer in this to him having your keys. Can you help us with how that came about?
I don't remember when I gave him the keys. I think it might have been some time when he said he was going to see me, but he was going next door and it was getting late or something. Right. And I said, you know what, like just take the extra keys and then you can just come in when you want. Because what would happen is time to time he would come over, but then he would go to a thief's house. Right. And then he would end up having some meeting, and I was just not interested in any of that activist meeting then. Yeah. So it could just drag on, and then I didn't know when he would finish and when he would come in, and just like waiting for hours. I just thought I'd just take the keys. Yeah.
So he had his own set. You gave him a spare set. And as far as you know, did he make use of his spare set of keys? Would he let himself in and out?
No,
he didn't.
Yeah, as far as I recall.
As far as you know.
Yeah. I think also because, I had a flatmate, so maybe he would scare her or something is my reasoning. Sure. So even though he might have come after a meeting and he would just let me know that he was free, and then, I finished my meeting next door sort of thing.
Fine. He wouldn't just let himself in in those circumstances. You've told us that one of the reasons he gave for behaving in this way, for just turning up, was his busy job. Did he ever acknowledge that it was quite an inconsiderate way to behave, or not?
No, I don't remember him ever sort of acknowledging that I should be more understanding.
You referred, Maya, to receiving a text saying, look out of your window. And you talk about this in your witness statement at paragraph 4.5. Can you just tell us a little bit more about that? Did that happen on one occasion only, more than once?
More than once.
How many times roughly?
4 or 5, maybe. Maximum 5. It wasn't all the time, yeah.
What time would you receive these texts, roughly? What time of day or night?
Like 1 a.m.
Would you be asleep when you got these texts?
Most of the time.
So they'd wake you up?
They would wake me up, yes. Or I'd just be like reading in bed, but I'd be in bed by then, yeah.
And so would you look out the window?
Yes.
Would he be there?
Yes.
Right just outside the window?
Oh, no, because I was on the first floor,
right.
So I could look out, and then he'd parked his car, and then he'd wave.
Right.
Yeah.
How did you feel about him doing this?
Well, back then, I thought that it was romantic and spontaneous. Mm. But then I got sick of it, so, as you can see in the letter.
Yeah, we'll come to that, yeah. How do you feel about it now?
Creepy.
You also refer, Maya, in your witness statement to an incident in which Robert Hastings reproached you for showing photographs to a male friend. I'd just like to look at that incident now.
Yeah.
Can you tell us what happened on that occasion?
I didn't know where Robert was, but a friend of mine, a male friend of mine, had come to visit me at the house.
Yeah.
And we were in the sitting room downstairs. And the way our co-op is people can, if you're by the car park side, then you can see us from the sitting room, but not from the front side, because that's the kitchen. And so we were just, I was just showing him photo albums. We had those things in those days, these, and he was from my culture, so
Right.
it was very normal in our community when people come round, then you show your family photos, and that's my brother, that's my sister, like that. So we were doing that, and then I got a text later saying, "Oh, you never show your photos to me." And I thought, well, what was he doing, watching me from the window? But he made it feel as if I had done something wrong.
Right.
The way that that text, that's how I received it. And I just wondered, well, why didn't you come and say hello to my friend and get to know him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You refer to this in your emails. I'm going to take you to those just so we can see your contemporaneous record of how you felt. If we could bring up, please, UCPI 38191, page 3. Penultimate paragraph, please. It's tab A2, sir. This is the first email that you exhibit, Maya, and I'm not sure, but is it right that that's the first email you sent Rob Hastings, in which you set out in some detail your feelings? It's dated the 31st of August 2006.
Right.
Don't worry if you can't remember, but it's the first one that in the log exhibit of all your communications.
I
It's the
guess
first
so
one there.
then. Yes. Yeah.
Right, so just for context, this is a long email where you set out how you feel about various things that he's doing, the way he's conducting the relationship. In this section of the email, you've cut and pasted an extract from a letter that you wrote to a friend about the relationship to try and make him understand, again, how you feel. I just want to look at the bit where it says first week and then second week. So this is what you've written to your friend, but which you're also communicating to Rob Hastings. First week, you're saying you've had a roller coaster of a week. It's been an emotional, the bottom of the previous paragraph says it's been an emotional shit roller coaster of last 3 weeks for me. First week, Rob got irrationally jealous of me showing my portfolio to my new best privacy guy mate. Second week, I bloody get a text on a Sunday evening after a convo asking me if I'd been fucking or even intimate with anyone else from Rob since we got together. What the hell? That really hurt and pissed me off. Again, we're going to look at the accusations of infidelity in due course. Just looking at that first week, got irrationally jealous of you showing your portfolio. Is that the same incident with the photo albums? That's the same thing?
Yeah, I showed him my art portfolio as well.
Right. So it happened around this time, so
Yes.
sort of 3 weeks in advance of the 31st of August, beginning of August-ish. I'd like to bring up another email, please, in which I think you refer to this incident. This is, again, 38191. It's page 43, the bottom of paragraph 2. Now, we're leaping ahead in time a bit, Maya. So this is a email that you sent to Robert Hastings on the 5th of March, 2007. So the bottom of paragraph 2... you've written, I couldn't function for a few days when you saw me bloody show photos to a friend. You can spy on my house all you like and interrogate everyone who knows me, and you will know I don't bring men into my room. So again, is that the same incident?
Yes.
So if I understand your evidence in these emails correctly, he spied on you, so he looked at you through the window and then got angry with you for interacting with a male friend in an entirely innocent, anodyne way.
Yes.
I mean, you've set out here how it makes you feel, but again, just for the avoidance of doubt, how did you feel at the time? It says here you couldn't function for a couple of days. Can you help us with what that entailed?
Just a lot of crying and a lot of hurt and confusion because what happened that day was that Rob was out on some demo or some activist activity, and one of my flatmates was also there, so I remember not only getting that text, but then my flatmate coming home and saying, "Oh, Rob gave me a ride home," and so, you know, feeling very upset that why didn't he come in to say hello if he'd not only he had come in through the window, but my flatmate had come in, and, you know, that it was a very innocent situation.
Yeah.
And I know that when I would try and call back to explain like what that was or who that was, then just Rob would not pick up the phone.
Right.
And so that would upset me because it really made me feel that he really thought I was going to cheat on him. Right. And I was weeping a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just want to take you now just to a couple of references in his emails where he appears to refer to him standing outside looking in the window, but I want to clarify if that was your understanding. If we could bring up, please, again, 38191, page 12, it's tab A2. This is an email from him sent on the 26th of September 2006. The last two lines where he says, "I want to say goodnight and tell you that your angel is looking after you still. But who will look after Gabriel's tears?" Rob. I'm just going to bring up another email before I ask you about that. It's the same document. It's page 67, please. And this is an email. So we're jumping ahead in time again. This is something he sent you on the 17th of March 2009. So after the first relationship has ended. Top of the page, he writes this to you. He says, "Have you ever wondered about the story of how Gabriel visited Muhammad to reveal the will of God or the Quran? It has always struck me that literature has always concentrated on the issue of Muhammad and the revelation as apparently revealed or imparted to him, but no one appears to have ever considered Gabriel and how an angel might have felt regarding the task given to them. Angels, do they have free will, or does God have knowledge of everything? The stars that shine on me shine on you too, and I have watched your window as an angel should, unseen and unknown." First of all, Maya, he appears to be casting himself in the role of a benign angel. Is that fair, do you think, a fair description of what he appears to be doing?
I think that's a bit charitable as well, because I think not just a benign angel, it seems like he's considered himself to be Gabriel, you know, an archangel.
Yeah, the archangel, yeah. But it does seem that he's presenting this act of looking at you through a window as something an act of love.
Yes.
How did you feel at the time when you got this second message?
Oh, upset. Because he had already, to my understanding, left London.
Right.
And it made me wonder whether he had passed by and watched me in the subsequent years through the window, and it upset me that, one, he didn't come in to say hello if he did, and also very unsettled that if he were watching me through the window, why? You know, as an angel should, but, you know, it's a bit creepy. Yeah.
How do you feel now that you know who he really is?
Even more unsettled. Yeah.
Moving on to a slightly different topic now, Maya. This is his comments on your ethnicity.
Mm-hmm.
You refer in your witness statement at paragraph 4.7 to Robert Hastings expressing views regarding the physical attractiveness of white women.
Mm-hmm.
Can you help us with the sorts of things he would say?
Oh, that he doesn't date white women. He would be disparaging. He'd say like, "Oh, blondes, yuck," and things like that in front of me.
Right.
And I just felt that was just totally unnecessary. Back then, I mean, I have to flip between how I felt back then,
Sure.
how I feel now, because now I just feel that was a racial fetish.
Yeah.
But back then, it was just very confusing why he would keep disparaging white women. And I did ask him, I said, well, you know, I remember even one time asking him, what do you, who was your celebrity crush when you were young? And he said it was this lady in a film called The Name of the Rose.
Yeah.
And I said, well, she's white. And then he said, oh no, she's Italian, that's different. And so it just really confused me.
Yeah.
Why he kept belittling white women.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to just take you to a couple of examples in the correspondence. If we could bring up, yes, it's UCPI 38191. It's page 34. It's tab A2. This is an email that he sent you in January 2007. It's just a glancing, it's a brief extract. But where he says, it's the second paragraph on that page, just a little way down, but where he says, but I want you to know that there isn't anyone else involved here. I haven't suddenly decided to run off with an Aryan goddess. Does such a thing exist? Nah, in order to make my mum happy. So is it fair to say that's an example of this? The suggestion being there's no such thing as a goddess who's a white woman because they're unattractive.
Yeah.
Just one more example. If we could bring up same document, please, but page 20. No, apologies, not the same document. It's UCPI 38192, page 23. It's tab A3. These are I think they're Skype messages. Is that correct? Are they Skype messages that have been converted into messages? It's just come up now, Maya, on your screen, where they're presented in this way.
I think at that time these were messenger messages.
Right.
What happened is I then joined the messenger to Skype.
Yeah.
So some are as Skype screenshots and some are the transcripts that I was able to
understand.
extract from the messenger. Yeah.
Excellent. Okay, thank you. 8 lines up, he's talking here, just again for context, about having gone to see a female doctor. And he says, so it's, that's exactly it. So this is again, jumping ahead in time, the 2nd of October 2014. Talking of this doctor, he says, she said to me, what is your favourite meal? And I said, leg of lamb. She said, yes, I like to have a portion of lamb. To which I replied, no, I eat the entire leg, spiced with rice. And then he says, bloody white women, no idea. So this would appear to be an example of what you referred to as his disparaging white women generally.
Yeah, it was very confusing because I was not around, I'd never grown up around people that spoke that way.
Yeah.
About white people or any other race.
Yeah.
And also given that, keeping the privacy details intact, but I do also have a lot of white people in my family as well.
Yeah.
So it just, it was just kind of crude language to me. Yeah.
Again, we'll come to it in due course, but it's clear that he complimented you in relation to your physical appearance. Did he ever show any, may or may not at the time have seemed to be genuine curiosity in your cultural background?
Not that much, to be honest. A little bit, bits and pieces, but we didn't really talk so much about my culture as we did other subjects.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, even the only times, the times that I recall him talking about culture is more as if we were like planning names for children or things
Right.
like that, but not really like, oh, how do you say this in your culture? Which in other relationships that I've had,
Yeah.
I've had more questions about my culture and the interest in
Yeah.
where I come from, but not to that degree with him, unless it had to do with dating white men or something like that.
That's the kind of thing he would talk to you about.
Yeah, like what would your family think if I was being with a foreigner or things like that.
Right.
And I would again repeatedly say I'm of mixed heritage with white family, so yeah.
Looking now at his attitude to class, Maya, particularly in
Yes.
relation to women, you refer in your witness statement at paragraph 9.2 to his having said to you pejorative things about the activists with whom he mixed and in relation to their class. Can you help us with the kind of things he'd say?
Oh yeah, he would. He presented himself as being very white working class, and that most of the activists were all middle class. Sort of the whole champagne socialist stereotype.
Sure.
And when he would maybe talk about people in a squat or having attended a squat, he'll be like, oh, these are all just white working class, not white, like white middle class kids that can just go back home. They've got the privilege to squat or do these different activities.
Right.
If you're a real working class, you don't even have time to be an activist.
Right. So, if I understand your evidence correctly, he felt that their activism was a sort of affectation.
Yes, he felt that they were almost like cosplaying, in a sense, that they were just, that these activists were, actually had very privileged backgrounds, which he didn't, and, they could afford to, go to different countries, for example, for their activism, things like that, yeah.
I'd just like to bring up something that I think may be relevant to this. Again, it's 38192, tab A3, page 43, please. And it's, again, the transcripts that we were looking at. If we could go to 15/11/2014 at 19:17:16. So, exactly, there we are. Okay, this is a little bit, I'll take you through it, and then I've got some questions on it which cover a couple of topics. So if it gets confusing, Maya, please just let me know, and I'll try and take it more slowly. This reads, can I ask you something? What did privacy tell you about me? Really? Atif told me different. What did he say? No. And then you say, yep, he said you had a thing for her, that you fancied her. First of all, what's a little bit confusing is it seems like there's some of the conversation missing. It seems like he's responding to things you're saying. Can you help us with what's going on there? Is that right?
First of all, the nature of the transcripts was, the way that they got downloaded is that actually there should be like corresponding part, but then what they did is they just put all the conversations, so that's why there's bits missing there, and then my side. Now I can't really recall that conversation, but I can only think of two different people that he may have been referring to, because I spoke to both of them.
Let me explore just the rest of this conversation. So sorry, if we could just carry on, just bring up the bit that follows on from that, just to the end of the page. Yes, just from can I ask you something to the end of the page. Thank you. So you said, yep, he said you had a thing for her, that you fancied her. And then Robert says, that fat motherfucker needs a slap from me. Fuck me. No, Atif needs a slap. You know he told me that you liked him. Yes, try. That just made me want to beat the fuck out of him, in caps. How? Again from Robert. Okay, fine. We don't need to go into that now. What I want to ask you about this is that it seems that, again, I'm going to take you, don't feel you have to cover it all now because I'm going to take you to another bit just before the break. But I think that the privacy person here is Atif Chowdhury's flatmate, female flatmate.
Yes.
Does that help you?
Yes.
If we could go on to page 44, please, the following page. Just from the top of the page. So you say, anyway, so yeah, P never said you had a thing for her or anything like that. She was just like, that bastard is making you cry. That's about it. Then Robert says, P, that same individual, had a thing for me. You say, oh, well, compared to P, she was a bit of a player. Robert, P, another person, was a cock and she knew it. You say, he's lovely but weak, kinda like privacy, another individual. Then he says, exactly. And then he says, a middle class bitch. First of all, we can take that down now, please. What is going on here, without revealing anyone's names, obviously? If I understand this correctly, please tell me if I've got this wrong. Is this Atif Chowdhury telling you that Robert Harrison told Atif that Robert Harrison liked Atif's female flatmate?
No, it was more... okay, so there were two women, two other women. So Atif did tell me that there was a rumor that Robert may have fancied his female flatmate.
Right.
But I think in the context of Robert telling him that he fancied somebody, it wasn't the female flatmate, it was my female neighbour.
Right. Okay, I understand. And is that what Robert Hastings appears to be objecting to?
Yes.
Was it your impression that he was objecting so forcefully and in such sort of violent terms as regards Atif Chowdhury because he was saying it was untrue?
Yes.
Again, no names, please, Maya, but when he's calling someone a middle-class bitch, can you recall who he's referring to? Is this one of these two women?
Yeah, I think he's referring to his neighbour who had a boyfriend then.
His neighbour?
Atif and my neighbour, we were all in the co-op. So referring to my neighbour who had a partner,
Right.
who had a boyfriend then, as the middle class bitch and not Atif's female flatmate.
Right, I understand. Yeah. And again, what did you make of this comment at the time, his calling her a middle class bitch?
Quite rude. Yeah, because I didn't think there was any need to call names for somebody who had been so nice to me and who at all times had never seemed to have had a fight with Rob or anything. So, I think, but it also came across to me, I really didn't like that language, but it just came across to me that maybe that's his white working class language, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Where there's a lot of expletives involved in common parlance,
Was this something he did more than once, I express antipathy towards middle-class women?
Yes.
In those terms?
Middle-class people, not just women in particular. White women, definitely he was disparaging, but in a more physical sense.
Yeah.
But he just hated the middle class is how he came across as.
Right. That was the impression he gave you.
Yes.
Right, we'll have a break soon. I'm just going to do another fairly short topic. Looking at the impression of his character that Robert Hastings gave you, we understand that when you met him, he was posing as a committed member of the international solidarity movement. You refer in your witness statement and in your evidence to him criticising others for their lack of commitment to the cause. Did you infer from that he was very committed to the cause?
Yes.
What was the basis, aside from things he may have said, was there anything he did that led you to believe that he was committed?
Well, because he seemed to talk about going to every demo, to going to every meeting, and not only that, going above and beyond, driving people around.
Sure.
That were activists for activities like driving them to the demo or maybe meeting some other activists like that, yeah.
Did he talk to you about Palestine, the Palestinian cause?
Not in detail. He just, actually, in our conversations, he barely talked about Palestine.
Right.
He just, he showed that he was committed, and then, but he didn't. We didn't have in-depth conversations as to history of Palestine or what, as you would with other activists.
Right. Or why he felt passionately about the cause.
he just said that it's just wrong, and that that the Israeli occupation was wrong, and that it doesn't take a genius to know what's right, sort of things.
Right.
That it was self-explanatory, which is why he didn't need to explain to me about his views on Palestine. Yeah.
Did he ever say anything to you about why he wasn't going to travel to Palestine, like many others in the ISM?
Yes, I mean, part of it was he said that sometimes like traveling to Palestine, in a sense, was just, again, he kind of put it as a sort of an occupation of privileged middle class who can afford to go to Palestine, and a bit like voluntourism. Yeah.
What impact, if any, did this presentation of himself as this committed activist have on you and your regard for him?
I was very impressed, because I believe that I'm very I admire activists. So for people taking time to commit themselves to whatever cause that they believe is just. So I had never really encountered people like that before in my life. Yeah.
And I just want to bring up just one example, again, contemporaneous, in which you refer to this. It's 38191, it's tab A2, page 26, please, the second paragraph. And you say this about him, Maya. So, second sentence of that paragraph: you are by far one of the most intelligent people I know, and I admire your ability to discern. I admire your sense of conviction. I think you know the meaning of what real knowledge is. Of all the many things I admire about you, I admire your mind and the way you know it is linked to your heart, that intelligence is also about ethics and values. So is that a fair reflection of what you felt at the time?
Yeah.
So I'm aware of the time.
Yes. We always break now for 15 minutes, partly to let you have a break, but also for the transcribers who have quite a hard time and need a rest. So we'll resume in 15 minutes if you're ready to do so then.
Yes.
Maya, looking now at another aspect of the way that Robert Hastings presented himself to you, we can see from the emails, we'll look at this in more detail in due course, but that he often wrote to you in quite flowery language. Did he speak to you using that kind of language?
At times, yes, he did. He, a mixture, you know, he would try and speak as if he was, for want of a better word, black, if that makes sense.
Right.
Like, he would just, you know, come out with, you know, as if he was like a big fan of soul music or something, you know.
Yeah.
It's, you know, kind of the sort of language as if he was, he would switch between that. So as it, you know, maybe he fancied himself to be like, I don't know, some soul singer or something, and
Right.
and then he would start like quoting Shakespeare, A. Houseman, you know, some of the romantic poets, Yeats, that sort of stuff. Yeah.
What did he say to you about why he did this, in terms of what his attitude was to poetry and literature?
Oh no, that he was a big fan. He presented himself as an autodidact. He, you know, he said that he had never had any formal proper education, that he left school when he was like 15, 16. You know, he never did A-levels. And so I was very impressed with his, what seemed like encyclopedic knowledge of Shakespeare. I wouldn't really know better. So
Yeah.
he could have said anything and I would have believed him.
Right.
On that front, because I wasn't that. I knew a bit of poetry. I was more into modern poetry, you know, modernists, Eliot, that sort of stuff. So, yeah. So he would present himself as being, you know, somebody with a huge thirst for knowledge.
Right.
And so how he really liked that was he was an avid reader.
Now that you know who he really is, do you think that was genuine, or do you think that was part of his activist persona that he'd created?
I'm not too sure. I mean, I think his love of Shakespeare must be genuine, but I don't know whether he was white working class, and whether he developed that love from just some curiosity, which was out of the ordinary from what he said was his upbringing.
Sure.
Because he didn't say that he had role models. I mean, there are, you know, it's not like white working class people are not into Shakespeare, you know, it's not that. It's just that he didn't have, you know, it's like some uncle or grandfather or somebody to share, you know, that pass that love, on to him.
Was he aware that you yourself, without revealing in detail what you did or do, but that you were a creative person?
Yes.
Do you think, or to what extent, if at all, do you think that because you're a creative person, because you're interested in the arts, that this aspect of his personality that he presented to you, that made him more appealing to you?
Yes, yeah. Yeah, I would add both, not just knowledge of Shakespeare, but also classical music. So
Because he was aware also that you liked classical music?
No, I wasn't into classical
Right.
music, but he just like kind of made himself, you know, as if he was a classical music buff.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yes, again, there's a reference to that in an email, which we will come to. To what extent, if at all, did his use of this poetic language and his reference to Shakespeare and literature give you the impression that he was a sensitive man?
Very much. So I really thought that, you know, if you like poetry, you're a sensitive soul. If you like classical music, you are sensitive, yeah.
And again, to what extent, if at all, did it give you the impression that this was not a shallow man? This is quite a profound soul. Did it give you that impression?
Yes.
Just a tiny factual confused point, Maya. In your witness statement at paragraph 2, we don't need to bring it up, but you refer to him telling you that he was a graduate of Birkbeck. But there are quite a few references in the correspondence where he refers to himself as not being a graduate. Can you help us with that?
Yes, he said that he, because he studied him by himself,
Yeah.
that he was able to do like a sort of night course or something, some evening courses at Birkbeck that Birkbeck University was able to. He didn't have to go to uni on a regular basis. A bit like Open University or something. Yeah, so that he could be able to get a degree at Birkbeck, and that impressed me even more. That even without leaving school so early, that you can, because people can, people do. So it really impressed me that he was, really wanted to learn so badly.
Sure.
That he did put himself to university. Yeah.
So when
he
refers to himself as not being a graduate, that's not quite accurate. Is that fair to say?
Yes. Yeah.
Looking now at declarations of love, did Robert Hastings tell you that he loved you?
Yes.
How far into the relationship did he first say that?
I think quite early on. Maybe 2 months, I'm guessing. Yeah.
Can you help us, Maya, with the circumstances in which he said this?
Well, it was always in the bedroom.
Right.
Because we didn't, have long walks in the park or some romantic moment where suddenly, somebody declares their love. It would tend to just, it wasn't even like a special moment event, It was just like, oh, I love you, is how he would say that to me.
And I'm sorry to ask this question. Was it actually during sex?
Yeah.
Did you say it back to him?
Oh, he would ask me to say it back to him.
Did he do that right from the off, as in once he started saying it, he said, tell me you love me?
Yes.
How did you feel about, well, first of all, how did you feel about him telling you he loved you during sex?
At first I just thought, well, because we think that it's not the easiest thing to say, so that it must have, like, maybe he was just holding it back and then it just came out, in the moment. So it was flattering. And, but, yeah, it upset me that it was just during sex.
Sure, we'll come to that. How did you feel about him asking you to say it back to him?
Very awkward, because I just felt like it just wasn't the appropriate, love is a sacred thing, and to ask me to tell him that I loved him during sex, it just felt a bit sacrilegious.
Would you say it back?
Well, yeah, because he was insistent. So I did to please him, but it took a while.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, you mean it took a while for you to feel that you could say it back, even just to please him?
Yeah.
When you did say it back, when you did start saying it back, did you feel like you loved him, or was it purely to please him?
It was more purely to please him.
Did you fall in love with him?
I did.
Can you help us with roughly when that was?
I can't recall. I think it just grew.
Yeah, don't worry. Again, you mention it in the emails. Now, looking specifically at the fact that he would tell you he loved you during sexual intercourse, if we could bring up, please, UCPI 38191, it's tab A2, page 2, paragraph 2. This is that first email, Maya, that you sent to him on the 31st of August 2006. Page 2, paragraph 2, and you appear to be referring to the fact of his not saying it outside the bedroom. Outside the bedroom, I still haven't heard you say that, as in I love you. And you didn't say it the last night I saw you either. It's never even appeared in a single text message. Nothing like the simple sappy things a couple may text each other, like, how is your day? Hope you're well. Thinking of you, lots of love. If you think all of this is so below the belt to tell you that between us the word love seems to be only bandied about in a bedroom, then I challenge you to find the messages that you've sent me like that. Sending me a text message on Sunday night to ask me if I'm okay after the shit you put me through the week before does not make things okay. We don't need to look at the rest of it, just in relation to this point. If I understand this correctly, it seems as if you raised with him the fact that it upset you that he only said it in the bedroom.
Yes.
And you refer to this in your witness statement. His response to that was to say that you were being below the belt. Is that accurate?
Yes.
Can you help us with your understanding of what he meant by saying it was below the belt? Was he saying that he had told you that he loved you outside the bedroom, or that you were being
That I was
unduly-
doubting his sincerity is what I took from that. That, you know, as if I was making him out as somebody who just, which actually turned out to be true, but, you know, who ended up saying that he loves me only within the context of sex.
Yeah.
That he was just using me that, so how dare I accuse him is, you know, what I sort of infer from his text message when he said that's below the belt.
Right, so he communicated that in a text message.
Yeah.
Did he address your wider point at all? Did he provide any explanation of why he didn't say it outside of the bedroom? Did he show that he understood why it might be upsetting?
No. I mean, he would just continue to express that he was upset, and so then I would feel bad about even having suggested that, and so I would feel very apologetic.
So you would apologise to him?
Yes.
And to what extent did it put you off raising the issue again?
Oh yeah, it just put me off. Yeah, I didn't. It was difficult to raise the issue again.
Turning now to having children.
Mm-hmm.
Over the course of the relationship in 2006 and 2007, did you ever discuss the possibility of having children together?
Yes.
Can you help us with the terms in which you discussed it, what was said?
Well, during that time in our relationship, he didn't declare that he wanted to have children with me, or that we would get married and have children. I mean, it was very soon in the relationship. But he would say, like, oh, we'll have very lovely children together, you know. And I remember once there was a conversation on the sofa. I forget exactly what was said, but there was a discussion about, I think, you know, me wanting family, or, you know, having nice children. It seemed more in a flirtatious manner that time, you know, but it also indicated that he was serious.
Yeah.
And then another time, I don't know what date, but, you know, I just remember, like, putting our hands out, comparing our skin tone. Well, he was the one comparing our skin tones, and then saying how, you know, my skin tone, like, you know, if we end up having mixed race babies, that they just look very beautiful.
Right.
Yeah.
So referring to your ethnicity in terms of its aesthetic appeal.
Yes.
How many times roughly? I think, if I understand your evidence, about 3 times?
Yeah, I'd say 2 to 3 times.
2 to 3 times. And again, if I understand your evidence correctly, it gave you the impression that he was thinking about the future. Is that correct? And how did that make you feel?
Now or then?
Then, not now.
That time, it made me feel very hopeful. It made me feel like, wow, here's a man that's not afraid to discuss children. Here's a man that, you know, is saying that we're going to have beautiful children together, that we would have beautiful children together. So it made me feel that I was on the right track in life to be married to this person.
Yeah. So, did it make you feel that he was committed to you?
Yes.
looking now, Maya, at some aspects of the way that he conducted the relationship with you. When you and he started your relationship, did he tell Atif Chowdhury and your friends in the cooperative about your relationship?
No, he did not.
How did this come to your attention?
I'm not too sure how it came to my attention. It's just that I remember, though, being very upset because they had surprised him for his birthday, or I don't know whether that's his real birthday.
It's not his real birthday.
But you know, that by that time we'd already been together for a whole summer.
Yeah.
So I understand in the beginning not to declare things because things are new and you don't know where it's going, and maybe it's a bit too early to say anything just in case, you know, the relationship doesn't build, and then you have all these expectations from neighbors and, you know, mutual friends. But then, you know, by the time his birthday came around in August, then, you know, he went next door. And, you know, he was supposed to come see me because it was his birthday, and he went next door, and he just didn't come back for hours. And then when I asked him, like, you know, what took so long and everything, he was like, oh, you know, they surprised me for my birthday. And I was like, well, I'm meant to be your girlfriend. Why didn't you invite me next door?
Yeah. And how did that make you feel at the time?
Extremely upset. Yeah.
Did you ask him why he wasn't telling other people?
No, because it was just so late and I was exhausted. I think, you know, maybe 2 a.m. I don't remember, but I just remember, like, I was fighting sleep, waiting for him to come back. Yeah.
Looking now at your activities, or lack of, as a couple, did you and Robert Hastings go out on dates together?
No, only one.
Can you tell us about that one date?
Yeah, I don't remember what day it was. It was sometime when the weather was good, probably the summer.
2006?
2006.
Yeah.
And my flatmate and I had another friend staying over. They were aware because they're like, oh, so nice, he's taking you out.
Yeah.
You know, have a nice trip. And then he drove me to Brighton. And then, we didn't do much. We just walked to the beach.
Yeah.
I think we got an ice cream or so. And then we weren't even there for very long, maybe about an hour or two. And then, you know, it was I think past sunset, or just about the sun setting or so. So done dusk, then we returned, and then he, you know, dropped me off at home.
Right.
And that was the only date we ever had.
Right. So no dinners out, no cinema trips, no drinks in the pub. Did you go
no walks in the park
No.
or anything, no.
Did you go to parties together, house parties?
No, we never went anywhere together.
And so, obviously, it follows from that, but just for the avoidance of doubt, you didn't go on holiday together.
No, and I think that was quite upsetting because I feel that the trip to Brighton was before that birthday party
Right.
for him. And so given that he seemed to be quite open about being a boyfriend in front of my flatmate and my friend who was living with me at the time, then you know, it was very confusing. A few weeks later or so.
No, I understand. Well, I think that, because you refer to that in one of your emails, I don't think we need to bring it up, but just to get the chronology clear, his cover date of birth was the 15th of August, 1973, and you mention in an email, your email dated the 31st of August 2006, you refer to that incident where he went round to Atif's place and they had a surprise party.
Yeah.
So that puts it, and you think the trip to Brighton was
before, I think.
a few weeks before that.
Yeah.
When you were indoors together. Did you watch television together?
No, we never even watched a single movie. Not telly, not a show. It was just conversation and sex.
So, did you eat together?
No.
What was the proportion roughly of conversation to sex, if you see what I mean? Would you have conversation and then have sex, or were the two inextricably?
We would tend to have conversation first.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you might have tried a bit of food from my house once. I don't remember when, but but it still wasn't a meal. It was just like some odd hour, and I said, "Oh, I've got something cooked. Would you like to try it?" But it wasn't us even sitting down together for a meal.
I mean, is it fair to say from what you've said earlier about the times and the way in which he would come over that it didn't really lend itself to couples activity?
No, I was extremely upset about that.
Well, that was my next question: is how did it make you feel at the time?
Yeah, just really upset. Because he's, in relationships you don't even say, when you're dating somebody, you don't even say "I love you" so soon,
Yeah.
and then not to even tell his friends, tell my neighbors that we're together, but then you say we're going to have kids, we would have beautiful children together. It was very confusing and upsetting to me.
It's mixed messaging.
Yes.
And again, if I understand your evidence so far, it seemed he was demanding total commitment from you and demanding that you and he were exclusive, but at the same time not treating you like you were his girlfriend. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
He was treating you more like you were a casual hookup.
Yes.
Looking, Maya, just at the correspondence in which you set out for Robert Hastings how you feel about this issue in particular. Mm-hmm. If we could bring up 38191, page 5, it's tab A2, sir. It's 7 paragraphs up on page 5, please. This is the email of the 31st of August 2006. This is the bit where you've cut and pasted a section from an email to a friend. Mm-hmm. And you talk about how terrible you've been feeling. Again, we'll come to that, and the self-harm that you've been inflicting on yourself. But it reads, anyway, rest assured, I'm better for now. Rob and I just need to be able to talk and have time to do normal things like date. I can't stand communication solely by text message. And also, in spite of the shit Rob has thoughtlessly put me through, Rob is a nice guy, and I want to give us both a chance because we both haven't really made the time for each other, and it's all too easy to give up. I just want to ask you quickly, Maya, despite his behaviour thus far in your relationship, why did you think he was a nice guy?
Because when we were together, he would be nice, he would say nice things. That's when he would ask, how's your day, or simple things like that. Yeah.
To what extent, if at all, was it because he would say to you also that he was one of the good ones? This thing of him being one of the 2% of good men. Did that have an impact?
He didn't declare that so much again, but he did, given the sort of persona that he gave, that he was just and noble, then, I should just put my faith in him. And part of me not wanting to give up is not due to the fact that he was nice, but because I had given my body to him, and I felt that if you give your body to somebody, then you are with that person for life.
That it's serious.
Yeah.
It's a serious matter. If we could bring up, please, same document, but page 9. This is an email you sent a few weeks later, on the 24th of September 2006. If it's the penultimate paragraph, please, and the third sentence where it says, I find it... sorry, that's not quite right, actually. If we could... I'm struggling to find it. I'll read it out anyway, and you can tell me if I've lost you. It says, you've written, I find it difficult to accept that every time I want to share things, you are not there. And then it is my friends as friends should be there to share the moments, to sit in the park and watch the sun, to watch movies and try each other's crap cooking, or at least me telling myself you have crap taste buds, thank you. I know I cannot expect all these things immediately with the way we have torn each other and trampled our souls' feelings. I know that to pretend all things run smoothly as if they have just by going out on casual dates cannot be done, because it will feel as if we are lying. It will drive us mad when we both know it is a game of pretend. Still, we have to try and work a way out. We can take that down now, please. First of all, Maya, this is nearly a month later, so it suggests that nothing's changed, that the relationship is still being conducted in this way. Is that accurate?
Yes.
You say here, you refer to dating, it would feel as if we were lying, or as if you were pretending. Is that something you genuinely felt, or is that something that he'd encouraged you to think?
No, it's something that I generally felt that if because when you're with, the context is, when you're with friends and they say, oh, how's your boyfriend, or what did you do, or where did you go, and, just to, and also the casual thing is, because he declared his love for me, I thought we were going to have a family together, that we weren't just dating casually. So it would feel as if, oh no, I'm just seeing this person, or he's friend with that. That would feel like it's lying. It's no, he was somebody that I was going to be with. Yeah.
Is it fair to say, though, that it suggests there's some confusion on your part? Because on the one hand, you're upset by the fact he's not taking you on dates. On the other hand, you're saying, well, actually, going on dates would be somehow dishonest.
No, it was more that not going on dates would be, but just to pretend as if we were a sort of couple that just went on dates.
Right, when actually you were something more...
Much deeper than that, yeah.
Right. If we could look at, again, 38191, please, tab A2. This is an email from Robert Hastings to you, Maya. It's not dated, just the way it's been presented. There's no date. But it would appear to have been written around January 2007, because that's your response is dated the 12th of January. Just to put this in context, so this is 2007. It seems like he's been out of touch for a while.
Yes.
The second paragraph, 10 lines down, that starts finishing late and having to get up early. So this is from him. Finishing late and having to get up early is the way my life has to be until I decide to do something else, which doesn't leave a great deal of time for much else. I'm also painfully aware that coming to see you late at night isn't the solution, and I had begun to feel guilty about that. Increasingly, I felt that you considered those visits to be little more than fuck trips. I hate that term, and that certainly wasn't the case. But trying to be good and not responding to the intense sexual reaction that you can easily provoke in me and in us is never going to be easy, which means that leaving in the morning is often tinged with guilt and regret, not for me, but for you, as you smile and curl up into a small warm ball, almost in readiness for hibernation. And again, this suggests that nothing's changed. Is that accurate?
Yes.
It appears, and just tell me if this is how you interpret it, that he's telling you that he's keeping his distance because he was feeling guilty that you saw the late night visits as fuck trips.
Well, no. I mean, I feel that the paragraph is more explaining why he's staying away. It's not the guilt of the fuck trips, but because he has to work so late and he's got odd hours. Yeah.
Right. Well, again, we'll come to these periods of withdrawal from him. I want to just look at your response to this specific point he makes. It's same document, page 32. paragraph 2 that starts never ever beat yourself up. So this is sent on the 12th of January, and you say, never ever beat yourself up about the ways you have to meet me or sleeping with me. Words and musings might bring a paranoia that it looks like fuck trips, but I've never felt that you see me for fuck trips. I've never felt fucked by you, and while I can't help feeling lust for you and provoke you, at least on my part, whether naughty or nice, short or lingering, I only ever make love to you. Is that how you genuinely felt at the time?
Yes.
It does read as if you're trying to assuage his guilt.
Yes, I was quite mixed. It was mixed feelings because for myself, I never felt that it was just casual sex, because for me that was something very sacred.
Yeah.
So that's why I say that, it's never felt like fuck trips for myself when I would have sex with him. But at the same time, I had this feeling that it did feel like fuck trips, because he would only come and see me and have sex at night.
Yeah.
And so it's just really trying to reconcile that and trying to please him and to say, okay, no, I don't see you that way. Yeah. I felt that I had to just bear with it until he got a better job.
Right. And is that something he made you feel?
Yes.
That it was out of his hands, he had this demanding job,
Yeah.
there was nothing he could do.
Mm-hmm.
Moving on now to the accusations of infidelity. This is a difficult topic, Maya, so just please, if at any point you want a break or you'd like to go into private session, please just say.
Okay.
You say in your witness statement in relation to this is at paragraph 4.19, you say that throughout the relationship he would regularly accuse you of infidelity and of intending to use him and break his heart. We'll look at some specific examples in the emails. Can you help us with, did he elaborate on how he thought you intended to use him? Was this for sex, for money?
For sex, I guess, because I never asked him for money.
The accusations that he made, how did he make them? Did he do it in person, in text messages, on the phone?
In text messages.
Always in text messages?
Always in text messages.
I want to look at some specific references in the emails. 38191, tab A2, page 2, just at the bottom, and it goes over to page 3, the final paragraph on page 2. This is your email of the 31st of August 2006. And you've written there, you've just texted me, and our textathon is much more amicable than has been our previous ones in quite a long time. That's what upsets me, and I can get pretty thrown off by some of your texts. They run in my head, even though many have been deleted, and I can still remember them. And just going over the page, yeah. Privacy just phoned me on his way to Manchester today to check if I was all right, and he calls now and again to see if Privacy, whom he's never met, needs help for a room since she's a friend. If P is okay since she's been harassing him. And I still remember how you just called him Lambrini boy. That day when I was so upset that even for me, tardy queen, it was such an effort to get to work, I finally showed up at 1, when I always make the effort on weekends to come in at 9. When I was that upset, when all that went through my mind was to go home as quick as possible and relieve the pain by maybe walking through brambles and hoping I wouldn't have to do that. When you asked me how I was and I said I didn't have much patience, you come up with a retort saying, that's 'cause Lambrini boy is always waiting for you. First of all, Maya, the reference to walking through brambles, is that a reference to you're having an urge to harm yourself?
Yes.
Lambrini boy is waiting for you. We don't want to know who Lambrini boy is, but it seems from this that when you responded to a question, when he inquired into your well-being, he responded with a snide suggestion that you were considering running off or having sexual relations with Lambrini boy. Is that accurate?
Yes.
So is that the kind of thing he would do?
Yes.
Same document, please, page 3. It's the same email, 3 paragraphs up from the bottom, the final sentence. This is again the bit where you're quoting, you've extracted the letter to your friend that you've written about, Robert Hastings. And we've looked at it previously.
Yeah.
But I want to look now at the accusations of infidelity, where you say it's been an emotional shit roller coaster of the last 3 weeks for me. This is written on the 30th of August, so this has been going on since about the 6th of August. First week, Rob got irrationally jealous of me showing my portfolio to my new best P guy. Second week, I bloody get a text on a Sunday evening after a conversation asking me if I've been fucking or even intimate with anyone else from Rob since we got together. What the hell? That really, really hurt and pissed me off. But no matter how many texts back or me crying on his voicemail to say, could you just call me back, whatever, nada, no messages or nothing. So, again, another example of him accusing you of infidelity via text. It suggests you set it out week 1, week 2, this is a couple of months maybe into your relationship, suggests that the accusations were quite frequent. Is that
Yes.
accurate?
Yes.
How often would he make these accusations?
Well, it's an exaggeration to say all the time, but, it seems as if it was all the time because it was so constant.
Daily?
Not daily, weekly, or maybe once every 2 weeks.
It seems from this as well that the pattern was that he would make these accusations and then he would stonewall you, then he wouldn't reply to you. Is that accurate?
Yes.
You also refer in your witness statement at paragraph 4.21 to receiving out of the blue accusatory texts, and you give an example. Can you tell us an example of the type of things he would text you just out of the blue?
Like, who are you going to fuck next? Sorry for my language, but yeah, that's the sort of text that I would get.
When would he send you those texts?
Sometimes like 1 a.m., 2 a.m.
What impact did that have on you, getting a text like that at that time?
Extremely distressed because I would just worry, like, where did that come from? It's one thing when he's seen somebody like Lambrini Boy at a party or whatever, and then that follows on where he can, or I've made some conversation about some brother of mine.
Yeah.
But something like that is, when we think things are going well and there hasn't been any accusations or stuff, and then suddenly this kind of text message would come out the blue.
Right.
Yeah.
Sorry, just for the avoidance of doubt, when you say brother, you mean a male friend,
Yes.
a close male friend?
Yeah. It's just in our culture we will
Sure.
consider, we have that sort of respect with each other. Yeah.
When you got one of these messages out of the blue, how would you respond to him, if at all?
Depending on the time of day. So if it's very late at night, I would just panic. I'd feel nervous, but then I was just too tired to be getting into some argument at 2, 3 a.m. But it would really, really upset me the next day if it was very late at night. If it was during the day, then it would upset me the whole day because I would try and text back and say, what are you talking about? Can you explain? But I would just never get any replies. And I would feel very worried for him, actually. I would feel like, what have I done? Is there something... or is there some kind of paranoia or worry? I actually worried for him at times.
Worried because you thought he was unravelling mentally?
Worried that he feared that he would lose me to some other man. Yeah, that I thought maybe he's, suffering from so much anxiety.
Right.
Yeah.
We'll look at some examples of where you set out in emails how it made you feel. Did you ever discuss in person with him how it made you feel?
I would try to at times, but often it just would never happen because I just didn't want to argue with him when we were together. I felt that when we were together, then just by me being with him physically, whether having sex or not, just even sitting down and him seeing me there and that there's no other male in my life of romantic persuasion, that that I was reassuring him. So our moments together physically were more, in a sense, to reassure him.
Right.
So I didn't really feel that it was a time and place to argue, especially because it would be late at night. Yeah.
So that was, if I understand correctly, one of the impacts, that it made you feel the onus was on you to reassure him.
Yes.
If we could look at 38191, page 44, paragraph 1, please. This is tab A2. This is an email you sent to Robert Hastings on the 5th of March 2007. The context for this, paragraph 3, we don't need to look at it, but it suggests that he had accused you the previous day of taking men into your room. And again, this is March 2007, so is it fair to say that this suggests, it shows that these accusations continued?
Yes.
Yes, so page 44, paragraph 1. What do you want... Oh. It starts, what do you want me to believe about you? Again, apologies if I've written the wrong reference, but I'll read it out. It's it says, what do you want me to believe about you? I know you are hurting very much, but does it matter to you that I am hurting too, or do you have to keep sending snide, hurtful suggestions and comments about my fidelity just to make yourself feel better, to cover up the guilt of not actually dealing with me and with yourself? And then paragraph 2, I will find the correct reference. Oh, yes. No, it is paragraph
43.
2. Yeah. No, it's 40. Sorry, it was the right. It's not 43. Sorry, I've confused myself. The bit I want to go to now is page 44. Apologies, this is unhelpful. Yes, so if we're looking at paragraph 2 on page 44. No, sorry, paragraph 3. It says, even if you don't see me going out of my mind, sitting in the cold, or the times I got lost at the back of the estates by your house in the middle of the night, the times I went to try and meet you with all the cab fares, and yeah, today I had to take a cab too, you set me off most when you question my fidelity. I couldn't function for a few days when you saw me bloody show photos to a friend. You can spy on my house all you like and interrogate everyone who knows me. You will know I don't bring men into my room. And then paragraph 3. The last time it ever happened, i.e. you taking men into your room, was exactly that night you mentioned yesterday with the skinny, long-haired, shrunken married guy, before he used to crash at a Tief's or in my living room. But as the house was full with other guests that day, I said, fine, you sleep in my room. You know about this. I told you about it. And when people again and again try to take advantage of me physically, even when I say no, even when I avoid communicating with them and avoid them, period, it happens. And all you can say in support is, oh, I've been fucking them. So if I understand this correctly, Myra, it seems that the previous day he's accused you of having sex with another man.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes.
Of taking a man into your room and having sex with him.
Yes.
You, on this page, if we stay on this page, please, we just look at the final paragraph. You set out, well, I don't think we need to read it out, but you set out very eloquently why it is so hurtful for you, as you have in your evidence, that it's hurts you deeply. If we could look at page 45, paragraph 3. Yeah, the one that reads, you know I can... Yeah, no, sorry. It reads, you know I can take a lot of pain. I'm sorry, I think some of the page numbers...
Page 44.
Page 44, sorry. I know why this has happened. I apologise. That's it. Paragraph 3 on this page. You know I can take a lot of pain, and I've taken a hell of a lot. This is the same email. and I've taken a heck of a lot, as well as physical energy, just taking in your assumptions about me and all the little questions and ways you like to evoke memories in me. Like, how many people have I fucked or no? Your question of if I even sucked my rapist's cock. Okay, can we take that down? Is that a question he asked you?
I don't recall, but I think he did, because I wrote it. Yeah.
Is it right that, if I understand correctly, but please tell me if I've got this wrong, that he even got jealous about the person who raped you?
Yes.
And the earlier reference in that correspondence where you confide in him about someone taking advantage of you sexually, his response to that, when you say your response is, oh, I fucked them, was that his response? He would then accuse you of actually having sex with this person?
Yes, I mean, he would accuse me, the feeling that I got, because I had been not only raped, but since then, sometimes sexually harassed by different people in my life, whether it's somebody trying to cop a feel or whatever, and and it would distress me, and I remember talking to Rob about those moments of how, in my life I've always had men try to have sex with me, not always, but I've had different men over the course of years, like try to attempt to have sex with me, and how upset it would make me feel. And then he, it's more like, well, you're so hot, or you must have done something, or, yeah, or, how did it even get to that point where somebody, just grabs you on the street to kiss you and things like that. And that person that he accused me of, I was extremely incensed that time, because that person told me, he was very drunk, and he said, you look so beautiful, I could rape you. And I kicked him, and so to accuse me of sleeping with a person who would insult me in such a manner was, well, that's why I wrote a very long email out of anger of that situation. Yeah.
I want to talk now about a very sexually explicit message that he sent you, that you mentioned in your witness statement.
Yes.
You refer in your witness statement, Maya, paragraph 4.29, to receiving a particular message from him during one of these cycles of him making accusations, you desperately trying to contact him withdrawing and stonewalling you. Can you help us with what he said in that particular text message, if you know what I'm talking about? Or would you rather I can read it out?
If you could,
would you rather?
Because,
no, I understand.
yeah,
No, I completely understand.
yeah,
Sorry, I
trying
should have
to
done that
remember.
anyway. No, I understand.
Yes.
If we bring up 38191, sorry, I hope I've got the page number right. This is an email sent on the 20th of August 2007. I think it's the very bottom of page 53. So this is, again, putting it in context, this is actually after he's ended the relationship, but it's a long email you sent him. And the bit I'm interested in reads, you must have used me for a fuck ride, and now you're bored.
Yeah.
Yeah, have you got it? Yeah. I mean, look at the facts. After you hurt me by accusing me of cheating on you, and I sent you lots of messages about that, and letters. Can I just ask, when you say letters, do you mean emails?
Both emails and handwritten letters.
I sent you lots of messages about that and letters. Then you texted me in the middle of the night on Friday that you wanted to come in my arse. And the following Monday I came to visit you, but I didn't let you do that. It seems, we can bring that down, please. It seems, Maya, that he did this this text message was sent around the 10th of March 2007. Does that sound broadly correct?
Yes.
Had he ever sent you such a sexually explicit message before?
No.
How did you feel when you received this message?
At first I didn't understand what that meant. And then I just thought, oh, that's just such a horrible thing, because I was not very sexually experienced to know about these kind of different acts then. So I felt that was so vulgar.
And again, if I understand correctly, you hadn't heard from him for a long time. You've been trying to contact him.
Yes.
And then suddenly late at night, out of the blue, this is what he messages you.
Yes, yeah.
Did you respond at the time?
I think either I gaslighted it and just pretended it didn't happen. I didn't say, "What do you mean?" Or because I just didn't want to. I was shocked.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
You're setting it out for him in this email here. Did you ever bring up with him in person how it made you feel and how grossly offensive and inappropriate it was?
I don't remember telling him in person because I think. No, I don't remember telling him that in person or discussing that because it just seemed too vulgar to even talk about. Yeah.
These accusations of infidelity, did they impact your behaviour around your male friends?
Yes, they did.
How?
I just kept a distance from people that sorry, this is something with that. I just kept a distance. It made me feel, I felt that I needed to keep a distance.
Yeah.
And this was also quite sad because it's not that there was, back in that time, there weren't that many people around my age or slightly older from my cultural background that were in this country.
Yeah.
So in a sense, I felt that all I had in a sort of family of sorts were these men who I considered as brothers, as family. And so, to kind of, I felt that I had to sort of distance myself from my family because they just happened to be men rather than women, because there weren't that many of us young women around that time in the UK. And so, because otherwise I'd just get accused of being promiscuous or wanting to or flirt with them or running away with one of them or whatever it was. So it was hard because it was almost like cutting myself from my only family that I had at that time here.
Yeah. So a support network, you had to
Yes.
distance yourself from it. The emails suggest, Maya, that he'd alluded to you about a difficult past involving women, and he referred to that as a way of explaining why he was so jealous. Can you help us with what he told you about the reason for his jealousy?
Well, two reasons. One, he said that his ex-partner had cheated on him, and in a very bad way, that he implied that it might have been in the same bed that he was sleeping on, but I remember he saying that she even went so far as to steal his records and to sell them.
Right.
And so that gave me deep sympathy, because if you are a music collector, a book collector, whatever it is, that it was like being stabbed in the back and then the knife twisting even further. Yeah. And then he also had said how when he grew up, his mother had multiple partners. She would take, he implied that she was promiscuous, but he implied that she might have been having sex with a lot of men for money.
Right.
He said he would hear her having sex in his Woolwich Council flat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, just to clarify, when he said his partner had cheated on him in the same bed, does that mean he was claiming that he was in the bed when she cheated on him, or that it was in their bed?
That she took the partner that it was in the bed that they shared together.
Yeah.
Yes.
Insofar as he told you these things, was it your impression that was a tacit acknowledgement that his jealousy was irrational, that it was quite out of control?
No, it just made me feel like, oh, okay, that explains why he has such. I mean, I did think his jealousy was irrational, but then it kind of gave more of an explanation. So it justified the irrational, what would appear to other people as irrational outbursts.
Right, but my question, I didn't make it clear, is did he in any way acknowledge that his jealousy was irrational or not?
No. I mean, it was more that it was justified due to his experiences.
And again, you've partly answered this, but what was the impact on you of this story that he told you about his mother and his former partner?
I just felt so sad for him. I just imagine growing up as a teenager with a single mom and then having to deal with that, and so having these sexual hang-ups, and then find sex something as very sacred, to enter a relationship with a partner and then have her cheat on him. So I felt very sorry for him.
Did it make you more forgiving, as it were, of the irrational jealousy and the text messages?
Yes.
Looking at other things that he did in the way he conducted the relationship, we've referred to it already, but this tendency to disappear and to cut contact, I'd like to look at that in a little more detail. You refer in your witness statement, Maya, at paragraph 4.18 to his disappearing for periods of time, and during those periods you were unable to contact him. Can you give us a rough idea of how often he would do that over the course of the relationship in 2006, 2007?
God, it just felt like every other month. And then obviously the significant one was over Christmas.
Yeah, we'll look at that. How long would he disappear for, roughly?
2-3 weeks.
And when you say he wouldn't respond to contact, was that phone contact, text contact?
Yes.
Text? Again, we'll look at some of the emails, but it looks like you would email him over those periods, and he would sometimes respond. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
But is that the only way that he would make contact with you, through the emails?
Yes.
Right.
Yes. He wouldn't text back, and then so I felt that the only way that I could reach out to him was by sending an email, which would elicit responses more regularly.
Yeah. Would he explain himself when he got back in contact? Would he explain why he'd cut contact in this way?
No, he wouldn't say, oh, I've been away on a job for 3 weeks or something. It just, there was barely any explanation why he would just disappear. Often it was that he was jealous, was the sort of explanation he would get, because it tended to feel as if the disappearances were after an accusation of jealousy, and that he needed to get away to, sort his mental health out. But
in any event, it seems he wasn't giving you a clear explanation, so it was confusing.
No, he didn't really have a story to do that,
And again, broadly speaking, what impact did it have on you? We'll look at some specific examples in the emails, but generally, how did it make you feel?
Very anxious. You text somebody that, oh, I know you've been cheating on me, or, you've been sleeping with this man, and then you just don't reply for 2-3 weeks on end, or even a week. You don't reply to any phone calls, any messages. I would get very worried. I would get very anxious. Other times it would be a mixture of that. It would be a mixture of that and feeling just extremely upset and just weeping for hours. I would feel, that's what, I was just like in a really heightened state of anxiety, and I would also feel terrible about myself.
Why would you feel terrible about yourself?
Because I couldn't figure out what I'd done wrong, but I must have done something wrong. So I would take time to figure, examine myself. And I would feel at times that maybe my body is, maybe I just, even if not intentionally, maybe I do give out these vibes to different men to want to have sex with me. And so that's what he noticed, in a sense. So I felt like, well, maybe something's wrong with me, because he's seeing that, even if he's accusing men of sleeping with, maybe even if I didn't sleep with them, maybe he thought that he maybe he got that kind of sense or feeling. And so there's something wrong with me, and so I hated my body. Yeah.
So, if I understand correctly, the fact that he had been implying that you had been asking for it, to want of a better way of putting it, had started to influence your thinking. You'd started to take that on board and think, yes, maybe that is the case.
Yeah.
If we could bring up 38191, page 15. This is an email from you sent on the 13th of November, 2006. It's tab A2. Paragraph 2, please. Now, it seems, correct me if I'm wrong, that this is during one of these periods where he's disappeared. And you write, Maya, in the second paragraph, because I do not really want to write to you, because I would rather speak, and I don't know what I have done, but deeper than that, because now you have made me so much more terribly bothered. Bothered that I feel and fear it is not even anything that I have done, but who I am, in which case it will never make a difference what I do. So I blogged and blogged, but it doesn't take away the pain, and the bees cannot undo when I bleed. Because you cannot even call to hear me, to tell you I miss you, and because you cannot even tell me that you do. I don't know what else to say. I'm sorry, Maya, you're all right.
I'll be fine. Sorry. Yeah. See, this time when I wrote that, and the reference to a Sesame Street song, it was just ABC, and it's because I carved those letters into my skin. So, yeah.
I'm very sorry. Well, again, I'll ask you about that, but yeah, okay, so it's incredibly painful. You're in a state of very intense mental distress to the extent that you're harming yourself.
Yes.
When you sent this email, again, don't worry, just broadly, can you remember how long it had been since you'd heard from him?
I would imagine, this is November, maybe 2 weeks. Yeah, it wasn't months ago, we didn't have a very long relationship, but, it just felt like forever to me. But even just like a 2-week silence or a week silence, yeah.
Let's look at his response to this email. Now, he sent it, your email was the 13th of November 2006 at 7:22. His response actually comes very soon after. This is his email response. So that's 38191, page 16. And he sends it on that same day, the 13th of November, paragraph 1. He says this: I'm not sure even where to begin with this. I think my mood can best be described as bad, and I have no doubt that you are not in any way responsible. I have issues, I have baggage, and sometimes it starts to creep up on me. I think I have the whole jealousy thing beaten, and then I get that tap on my shoulder, like a close whisper in the ear. My head begins to ache, and my heart soon follows. Why am I jealous? Why am I insecure? But there you have it. I missed you. So, just pausing briefly there, it seems there that he is suggesting that the reason he's absented himself is because of jealousy.
Yes.
He continues, I missed you. And when you speak, you sound light and without a care. And I wonder, does it matter that I'm not there? Sounds like a cheesy line from a cheesy song, so I wonder, what would Shakespeare write? There is always baggage, mine, yours, ex-boyfriends, people who like to shake women about, happy party opportunities missed. Am I dull? Do I bore you? And my head still aches. My heart just burns. So, first of all, Maya, he responded quite quickly to that email. Is that typical? Would he tend to respond quite quickly to the emails, at least?
Yes.
How did you feel when you got this at the time?
I felt a little relieved that he was okay. I felt that it explains why he disappears time to time. I felt reassured that he still cared for me. Yeah. It's very different how I look at it now, but
Yeah. How do you
then-
look at it now?
well, when I look at it now, I'm a bit confused why he writes ex-boyfriends, because I did not have ex-boyfriends. I'd only had one boyfriend in my life then. I know the reference he's talking about people who like to shake women about, because there was one young man who I didn't realize was enamored with me, and then he grabbed me and shook me like a rag doll when he found out that I was interested in somebody else.
And you talked to Robert Hastings about that?
Yes. So why to have that as part of the jealousy is a bit confusing.
He seems to start off by saying that it's not your fault, you're not in any way responsible. But then he seems to reproach you when he says, and when you speak, you sound light and without a care. And I wonder, does it matter that I'm not there? Is that an example of him? Well, it appears that he's putting it on you, that actually you are in some way responsible because you don't seem sufficiently upset when he speaks to you, or upset about his not being there. Is that fair?
Yeah, and it's very much like when he writes about who will take care of Gabriel's tears or things like that, where it's that he's the wounded bird and I should take better care of him.
Right. And that was something he said or implied
Yes,
frequently.
yes.
Something else he appears to do, he says he has issues and baggage, but then he seems to refer disproportionately to your baggage, as it were. Ex-boyfriends, you've commented on that already. That's inaccurate. People who shake you. Can you remember at the time, I mean, you've talked how overall you felt relief. At the time, what effect did this have on you, in the sense that he seems to make a concession but then withdraw it? Did you notice that at the time or not? Were you just so relieved that the nuances?
I it just felt like a pattern, in a sense that, you know, some stress happens, and then when I email him or I write a blog post sometimes, so I had a blog, and he when he wouldn't email back or something, but then he'd have a comment on the blog.
Yeah.
So at least there was some connection, that I didn't lose him forever. But at the same time, it was just exhausting. I felt like I just had to constantly reassure him.
And again, you may have addressed this already, but again, just for the avoidance of doubt, you've referred to and you've agreed that it sounds like that the reason he'd withdrawn is because he'd suspected you of cheating on him.
Yes.
To what extent did he make you feel that his withdrawal was a punishment for your failings as a partner?
I don't think he ever... it was just very confusing. In a sense, it did, because then I felt that, I've not been very forthright enough to really show my love to him, to really know that, so that he really knows I care. So, but whether that's a punishment, sometimes it felt like a punishment, sometimes it did. To what extent, can't even tell in percentage, maybe 20%, because most of the time I would blame myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I would just say, like, okay, I don't think that's intentional on his part, in a sense, like, he didn't say, oh, it's all your fault, but it's just that I felt like, oh God, like, I'm just so inadequate. Yeah.
Sarah, I'm aware of the time. I think it might be a good time to break for lunch.
Certainly. We'll try and start a minute or two before 2, but at any rate at 2.
Okay.
That long enough for you?
Yes, that's
Good.
sounds
Okay.